Peace and blessings. Thank you for coming through another stream. Listen, we're going to get right off into it. We've got me, myself, and MsAkemi. We got the beautiful sis Laverne, aka Yo Thoughts, in the building. And we are going to be co-streaming today, or we're going to be, collaborating basically. And so thank you to all the new subscribers. There will be a link in the chat or in the comment section for Miss Yo Thoughts page. Please, if you haven't subscribed, please go and do so. Also, member up. Thank you to all of the new subscribers and everyone that's coming through to check out the stream. So we're gonna get right into it. But one more addition to the house cleaning before we do is that we have set a goal, and we have set a goal for a three-way conversation that will be the outcome and the reward of the goal if it is met, right? And so you will get a three-way conversation. It can be in consultation. You can ask questions. We can have whatever whatever your choice is on the dialogue, and then we'll go from there. However, I just want to add that there is the minimum will be $20, right, for a 20-minute conversation, and the goal is to hopefully get 10 people, and then we will schedule a time that works for you, and that will be that. So please consider it. I'm telling you, me and Miss Yo on the phone, honey, we we are worth every hot second and hot penny, okay? Yes, indeed. So we're going to go ahead and add Miss Yo Thoughts to the stream. We got Laverne in the building. Peace and blessings, sis. How are you?
Greetings to you, beautiful. How are you today?
I am wonderful. I am wonderful. I need to turn my volume up a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. There we
I,
go. Oh, all is well, sis. All is well.
that
So,
is good. That is good. I can hear you perfectly. And that's a really good goal to set. You guys better jump on that. You ain't gonna never find all this wisdom all mashed together in a conversation. So y'all better hit that daggone goal thing up and let us know how much you appreciate being able to listen to our wisdom. And we'll be able to speak to you and hear what you have to say, and we can give you some good sound advice. You got it, Shirley.
yes, indeed. Very well said. Very eloquent, as always. Now, as far as the topic, you read the title correctly. So we got a military wife, and she is on camera. I'm gonna give you the very beginning of it and maybe a little gem at the end so you're not totally lost. But there's a dispute between a couple, and they're both in active duty members of the military, and there are some issues that they've been having in their marriage, and I guess it came to a head, right? And it got kind of drastic. So that's all I'm willing to tell you. We're going to go ahead and start the video and do our commentary. So definitely, please feel free to comment in the chat. Just chime in, because we would love to hear other people's viewpoints, their thoughts, whatever that entails. It's better in numbers, in my opinion. So
Yes, I think that's a good idea, Mr. Kimi. Let them go ahead, do some chatting. Y'all tip in those in that comment session, and you guys are gonna see more videos coming from me and Mr. Kimi like this. Okay, I'm on mute.
that part. Let's roll, sis.
On January 9th, 2023, a distressed man arrived at the police station to report a domestic disturbance at his home. He was eager to share his story with law enforcement, seeking assistance with the situation he had experienced.
Hello.
Yeah, go
Good,
ahead.
how are you? Did you call?
I didn't call anybody, but I talked to her.
Right. What happened?
So, my name is, can I tell her?
Yeah.
My name is Nate. We've been, I don't know if you remember that area. So this morning, I have an incident with my wife. I'm in the military, I'm staff sergeant. And I already talked to the MPs, and I talked to my leadership, my first line supervisor, about the incident that happened this morning.
Mhm.
And pretty much, my wife and I were going through some disagreements right now, and she was hitting me.
Okay.
I know, uh, um, I I'm here because I have an idea of what I want to do, but I'm kind of like worried about the consequences. So I don't want to kind of like lose my career or put myself in a position where my career is going to be jeopardized. I already talked to my first line too, and he said that
I think that's a good place to stop. Because I'm already seeing some flags jumping off. What about you, Laverne?
Yes, indeed. There's red flags everywhere. First of all, he comes into a police station and he says that he don't want to get his wife in trouble because she's in the military. If that's truly the case, why are you there, sir? Okay. So what's changed? That's one of those red flags, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I'm wondering where is she right now? Let's just figure out what's going on with her. But we're gonna listen to his story and see what he got to say.
Yes, we definitely are. I know that the one red flag that resonated with me loudly the first time was when he made the statement, "I know what I want to do." He
Which
said,
means,
if
yeah,
if you listen, he's telling you exactly what his intentions are.
he also know the consequences by him being in the military himself, what the consequences are going to be for his wife. That's another thing to note, right?
Yes, absolutely, amongst others. But let's go ahead and let's hear him out because he is there to tell his story.
he can put me in a barrack room and all this stuff, which is what I'm trying to avoid. When I talked to the MP, they told me the same thing. Even if I'm a victim, they pretty much the law favor the spouse. In this case, I don't know if you're familiar with that part. So what I'm hearing is just, you know, we started through the weekend. Um, Result of that, she was at the house. She came home yesterday from she's in the reserve, so she came home yesterday from South Carolina. I wasn't talking to her. I cleaned the whole house and minding my own business. And this morning, um, I was getting ready to take my kids to daycare on post.
As he spoke with the officer, he revealed that his girlfriend, whom he also referred to as his wife, had physically assaulted him. This was a shocking claim, and the officer listened carefully as the man shared his side of the story. The situation became even more concerning when the man showed the officer video footage on his mobile phone, which he claimed would support his version of the events. The video was difficult to watch, but confirmed the man's claim. The footage showed disturbing moments of the altercation, leaving no doubt about the severity of the situation.
And both of them, and I put them all in the car, and I guess she was thinking that we were cool. She was like, I was going to the gym in the afternoon, and I didn't tell her anything, so she kind of like went away inside the house and closed the garage. So I was just getting ready to leave, and she opened the garage back and started talking to me, arguing, and then she started pushing me and in the face, and then she started gaslighting me. And maybe I was saying things like, well, gaslighting her too,
Like what?
like ignoring her because I wasn't talking to her about what she was asking about.
So I'm wondering if that was the only way he was gaslighting her.
Yeah, because we don't know what happened inside of the house before he came outside to prepare to take the children to the daycare on post, the military post base, right? So he could have triggered her inside of the house, also knowing that the cameras were outside of the house and that he could have some kind of alibi or some kind of cover to protect him, you know?
Yes.
That's crazy. And then plus her pushing on him. First of all, listen, you that was unnecessary. You don't have to put your hands on anyone. She could have handled that part right there in a better way. And I'm sure she knew those cameras were there as well, right?
Yes. Absolutely. There are so many different components to this, but one thing I think that we can assess for sure and for certainty is that they are both at a breaking point, one way or the other. So whatever has been going on has, in my opinion, kind of sent them both over the edge, right? To both of them are doing things and responding in what is more of an extreme level than what they're used to responding it with. So there's
Yeah.
definitely a plateau with all of this, but no, I there's on both sides, there's definitely a lot of things that could have been done differently.
And then one thing I want to add too is just imagine the argument they had inside of the house with the children present,
That
right?
part.
They heard most of that inside of the house before it spilled over outside of the house. And then we want to wonder, how long have they been arguing? You know what I'm saying? So that's traumatizing for children. I just want to add that piece, and I'm on
And we
mute.
can't measure how much trauma the child experiences because, first of all, at those ages, they're more nonverbal communicative. So they don't know how to express themselves,
And
right? But
yes,
then and even if so, we still can't imagine the degree of the PTSD that people go through, or the after effects of trauma that they go through in order to just cope and deal. So it definitely, we as parents, we got to do better. If things aren't going well, that you cannot, and then you got to think of the energy. So you got the words, you got the behavior, you got all of the external things going on, and then you got energy is transferred. The children, the babies came from y'all, so they're going to pick up on things that are going on in the home, whether you verbalize it or not.
right, 100%. And also, children look up to their parents as being their gods because we introduce them to spirituality amongst other things: how to put their shoes on, how to eat, how to walk, how to talk, how to behave with one another. And if you can't show love to one another, mom and dad, how can you show love to the children? So you're teaching them how to love as well. And they watch what you do, not what you say. I'm on mute.
That part. That's a mic drop. Let's continue.
She was like, I got it on video, but I'm not gonna show you until we finally talk. And then I was just,
What do you have on video?
I'm sure, I don't know if you've been to this before or I don't want to like mess up her career or like right now. I said right now she's at work and she think like I said she think that I'm bluffing about it, but I was telling her like I'm not gonna keep sponsoring the behavior that you're doing, which is pretty much right now out of social media. She's been talking to other guys, but being married to me, and the reason why we went to social work before we've been through it is because while I was employed, she was cheating on me. So
1 second, sis, hold it right there.
Can you turn it sideways? Thank you.
Okay, I just want to say something. He says that she is communicating with other men on social media. She's a married woman, right? She's in the military, she's in the reserves, meaning that she's not full time active duty. Okay, that's a red flag. Once you are married, you are not supposed to, ladies and gentlemen, have these new friends, opposite sex friends. That is a problem in itself. That's not cool, right? And there lies trust issues. Okay.
Absolutely. There is a way to behave. There is a way to conduct yourself as a wife. You cannot move as if you are single. You cannot move to entertain the energy or the interaction of a man outside of your husband. You're inviting problems and you're inviting the emotion of distrust in the relationship. Once you lose trust in a relationship, it goes downhill fast, right?
And that's right. You're exactly right. And here's another thing too. Why would a woman want to speak or have friendships with other men other than their husband? Okay? Because you have to think about this thing. Men are chasers. They are conquerors. They are looking for women. They're looking for the vagina. Let's be real. So why you need to be having these male friends? The husband that you marry should be sustainable and enough for you. If not, don't get married because that's a no-no.
Period. That's it. Let's go.
there's a couple of them. So this is the first one that I got. Like, it was working out.
You can't just make it easy. Why do you have to be so difficult? Why do you have to be so difficult? I'm not. It can be easy for everybody. You just want to make my life miserable because you have this persona in your head, thinking that I'm cheating on everybody. And if I am, I would like to see proof. Because there's nothing. There's nothing.
Just like I said, once you lose the ability to trust one another, everything is up to question. Nothing is certain. There is no level of I'm going to rely and put stock and trust in everything that you're saying. And so that becomes the issue. What you think, sis?
I think you're 100% correct. And here's the thing: when I say that women shouldn't have male friends once they're married, I'm saying that if, only if, the husband that you're marrying, if he knew the male friends or know the male friends that you had before him, and he's okay with you still keeping that relationship, he's cool with it, then that's one thing. But now we're talking about these new men that's introduced to her in her life that are friends with her on social media, in her DMs, and all of these things, telling her, blowing her head up or whatever. Look, that's a no-no. That shouldn't be happening on either end, even if it was vice versa, right? So that's where the conflict is, and she knows that. And if there's no problem, then why are you arguing with your husband? Why don't you just say, okay, baby, I understand how you're feeling, and delete those people and get them out of your life? That tells me, sis, that you have other motives and other plans, and you like this thing or this attention that you're getting from these other men. Okay? I'm on
Yeah.
mute.
Mic drop.
Thing. There's nothing. And that's what's funny. I'm not intimidated by you anymore. I'm not scared by you. There's nothing that you can do to intimidate me. Nothing. You think that you can just ignore me when I'm trying to talk to you about my kids? Huh? I'm not afraid of you. I'm sick of you always trying to intimidate me. I'm not afraid.
Hold on, sis.
I'm not afraid of you.
Okay, so she's saying that she's not afraid of him. She's not intimidated by him. She's making a big deal of the situation. So, what is driving you to, project physical harm on the man that you love, the father of your children, in defense of having these strangers or these strange men that he don't know anything about in your life? That's telling me that something, those guys mean something to you somewhere. That's what it says to me.
Yes. The first thing that came to my mind also, too, sis, was that she has this been the first time that she's put hands on him. It to me, that will also tell a part of the story, as is this something that's been progressing? Does he really have that kind of restraint, or is it a motive to restrain himself? Because now this is an opportunity for you to change the situation.
Yes, sis, and I'm gonna tell you what the motive is. Okay, okay, since you know that my husband was in the military, and I know all about that military being the spouse and all that life. Okay, first of all, in the army, if the man put his hands on a woman, he could be his rank could be he could be demoted. Meaning that if he was a sergeant or higher or anything else, he could be demoted to a private. So that means it'll take away his livelihood if he's or in fault or caught putting his hands on his wife, right? So he knows that. So this man do not want to blow his career, his military career, by doing anything, and she knows that, and she's using that to her advantage. But nevertheless, she too is in the military, and the same could happen to her. You
That
understand? Right?
that
You
part.
see?
So it could be safe to say that is actually a bit of both, right? More so
Yes.
wanting to preserve his career, but also that would be a motive for you to not respond or react, whether it was the first time, the third time, the fifth time, etc.
100%. And one more thing I want to add. I'm looking at the housing that they're living in. If they are living on a military base or a post on military, that's military housing, then the channels that that gentleman would have went to would have been through the military. They would have handled it. But I noticed that when this video first started, he was at a neutral police station. That tells me that he lives off base, which means off the military post, meaning that the military don't have anything to do with this so-called uh, spousal problem because it's off post. But if it was on post, that both of them would be before a board going over their relationship and what's going on. It'll be a bigger issue.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great observation. Great. I'm telling you,
Thank you, Shirley.
you know. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Let's go, y'all.
So you coming to the next relationship? She's right.
Who?
My wife.
Where is he?
The white car.
The truck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm sure she can tell that she's texting me in front of me.
Okay.
And she.
Does she know you're here?
Yeah, because she's seen my location. Well,
okay. Stay in here for just a minute, okay?
So I just want to, don't want to belabor the point, but I just want to reiterate that, it says she's outside the police station. They share each other's locations, so they know where each one goes at all times, which I think is, I don't know, I'm conflicted about that because I could look at it through the lens of safety. But as far as like if the motive is control or if it's something that where you're monitoring everything that I'm doing because of the lack of trust in the relationship, I'm going to feel some type of way about that. But
I feel you on that, Shirley, because I would too. You don't monitor your spouse's every move. That's totally unnecessary. All you got to do is pick up the phone and say, honey, I'm going out. Me and the kids, we're going to be at point A, B, C, or D. I'm not, just let them know where you are. It's nothing wrong with telling somebody that you're safe, or what your location is, especially if you have two working people with different schedules. People just want to keep tabs in that way. But as far as tracking a person that it removed, that's simply ridiculous, in my opinion. That's a trust issue for real.
absolutely. Okay, let's go ahead. If there's nothing further, let's proceed.
25. Can I get another unit? I've got the other party showing up here at headquarters. 25. Hello, are you Kelly? Yes. Can I talk to you for just a minute? Okay.
When the officer arrived at the property, he saw a woman trying to leave. Her behavior immediately raised suspicion. She seemed in a hurry to leave the scene, which seemed strange given the circumstances. The officer stopped her and asked if she had anything to do with the disturbance. The woman denied any involvement in a crime. She began to offer her version of the story, but her response felt off to the officer. It seemed like she was trying to avoid responsibility for what had happened. The woman then tried to deflect blame by giving conflicting statements. She changed her story several times, seemingly trying to confuse the officer.
So it appears as if she's already trying to get ahead of this thing so they don't have to come and seek her out, because I'm sure her heart dropped when she realized that her husband was at the police station and y'all got all these cameras around the house and you've been the aggressor, and now you want to throw a temper tantrum, put your hands on your man, and now you got to explain yourself, because now the lack of emotional intelligence and responding that you just did actually could cost you your career, and you in the reserves, you just fresh getting ready to transition, and this is what you dealing with. What you think?
Right. That's true. And I want to go back 1 second to say, when it comes to sharing of locations, there's nothing wrong with sharing locations, especially if you have a spouse working like a night shift or something like that. A woman, like say the mom worked night shift or odd hours. There's nothing wrong with having a tracker or sharing locations on her vehicle or stuff like that. But other than that, that's null and void. That's just overkill. And then going back to what just happened here, she seems to be scared, because why would she leave, and not just take the time to speak to, like in a hurry? They said she was in a hurry. And the next thing that usually follows is when a woman starts to cry, they want to gain sympathy because they feel and they know that they're in the wrong. The tears start to fall. Let's watch.
And it's hard to, I just want to add this too, though. It's like a lot of women use tears and crying as a form of manipulation. So I just want to throw
Exactly.
that in.
Exactly. 100%.
Okay.
Hey, I'm also Marian. What's going on with your husband?
I mean, I'm sure you know his side of the story.
Yeah, and I want to get yours. So
Yeah, it's probably true
okay,
what he said.
what do you think he told me? Like, I'm just trying to get your side, okay?
We've been going through this for 3 years.
Yeah,
It's
it
just
sounds
not,
like it's
it hasn't gone this far. I don't know. I'm sure he told you everything. He's really good at building cases against me. He's
Okay.
a very smart man.
Okay, so what from your perspective, what happened?
He knows how to push me past my limits and manipulate me
Mhm.
to the point to where I finally break, and then he does stuff like this.
Okay, so I understand what you're saying, like in general, that this is like an ongoing thing. But what about today? How did he do that today?
Trying to threaten that he's going to have full custody of our children.
Okay.
Is that a reason enough for you to snap?
Right. And first of all, he was saying that he's going to take them to the daycare. He was going to take them to the daycare on post. So that's not saying he wants full custody. He's telling you don't worry about it. I got him. So you're taking that and using that as to say he wants full custody of the children. That had nothing to do with that. Somebody's lying right here.
Okay, so when I first heard this, I was thinking maybe there could have been a pre-existing conversation, but on videotape that escaped it, or that happened prior. That could have happened prior to this particular situation. So I'm wondering if somebody's lying, or maybe if it's just not in context because it's not on camera. I know it's hard to tell because we're not inside their homes, and so there's a lot of things we're not going to know. But I think there's more questions than answers. But you know what? They always say you keep somebody talking. When I say less, that's what I mean, because somebody's gonna talk, and if it's not you, you give people enough time and rope to hang themselves. Just let them keep talking.
And if it's so annoying to things that he's been probably threatening to her about taking the children, I noticed she said when she was speaking to the officer, she was setting him up by saying he's manipulative, he's controlling. She wanted to let her know how she feels about her husband as a way of deterring the fact that she put her hands on him. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it just sounds like to me you're the most manipulative person, because why would you start off with that? Why not start off by saying, I'm apologizing, he pissed me off, and I touched him.
And that's why I said when she pulled up, I said I think she's trying to get ahead of this thing. You know what I'm saying? She was the whole way there in my eyes. I believe that she was trying to just formulate the story in her head. So like you said, the one thing she realized, whether she thought he had the guts enough to go to the police department or not, she at some point realized, okay, well, I am on camera. So chances are they've already seen this. Now, how am I going to stay my butt out of jail and salvage the little career that I got, or the little time in the military that I do have?
And save face at the same time.
Yes, come on with it, Laverne.
Big mess.
Big mess. Let's go.
Not say that exactly, but don't worry about it. I got it. The words that he says, I don't even know how to put it in word for word right now.
Okay, so you feel like he was provoking you?
Of course, he always does.
Okay, so how did the argument start?
He accuses me of stuff that's not true.
Okay.
And he sees tiny parts of little stories or little stuff that goes on, and then he makes his own story in his mind as if it's true, and it's not. And I don't know how much longer, I can't even plead my case because he will bring up another thing on top of that. Can we talk privately now?
Yeah, we can step off to the side here. We can't go inside right now. I'm not going to have you put all your business
pull up right here.
So
here's another thing I want to add. She wants to step aside. She is embarrassed. She don't want to see people talking, to her, and because she knows she did something wrong, so she's ashamed. Her asking the officer to step aside to speak in private is a sign of her being ashamed. That's one thing I want to say. Another thing is when she said her husband see bits and pieces of things and he adds them up and put in his mind what he wants to believe. He has no business, number one, finding bits and pieces of nothing. Is he finding bits and pieces of your social media stuff, of the dudes talking to you and adding in his head or imagining that you are with someone else? Why are you giving him this ammo to feel these uncertain feelings about your relationship? Okay, sis, she got to straighten up.
Hey, come on now. Come on. Let's go.
He was accusing you of things, right?
It's not true, and I'm just sick of it.
Yeah. So and then what happened after that? So you guys were arguing.
I'm sure you've seen videos and stuff.
I'm trying to get your perspective because it's not fair.
She's trying to figure out what she's got. She's trying to figure out trying to gauge a temperature and see how bad is this? What do I have to pull out in order to mitigate my damages here? But
yes,
the officer is really she's experienced and she has an eye and an ear to where she is really, she knows exactly. She kind of she sees where she's going with this, and they are trained for a certain type of line of questioning, and she's sticking to that. So kudos to the officer for that as well.
and it seems like so far the mama or the wife is the one that's being manipulative in this situation thus far.
That part, definitely manipulation involved. Let's go.
For me to only get one side of the story when there are at least two sides of the story.
I'm sick of. I was for so long a stay-at-home mom, living in his shadow, and I finally just am becoming.
Okay, stay right here for just 1 second. Okay, I want to hear what you have to say, but give me 1 minute. Okay. So like I said, there are at least two sides to every story, right?
I noticed she went right into her phone. And she looked up with a straight face. I peeped that observation. That's all I wanted to say. I don't want to stop it every 5 seconds, but everything matters. It's like there are definitely, this is in real time. This is a body cam. So it's like you being there and the things that you can pick up on and, like whether they're flags or whatever, I think it's all relative.
And I think the reason why she picked up her phone is because she knows she's caught. She have an idea that she may be going to jail. So I'm thinking that she's reaching out for a lifeline, maybe a family member or something. So that just in case she goes to jail, she have a backup plan, because he's the only backup plan that she really have in life for real.
Yes. And there is mention later on in the video, we may or may not get to that point, but she states to the officer that they relocated, so she does not have family or a support system in wherever they moved to and relocated to. She speaks that. She says that. So you're right on point with that, Laverne.
And it's not fair for me to only have one person's side. Okay. I understand you guys have ongoing issues.
Can you tell me what's going on after this?
I am investigating a domestic violence incident. That's a start. Okay. And what's happening right this moment is I'm trying to get your side. Okay.
I don't know. I don't really know the side. There's nowhere I can go. He's trying to kick me out of our house. I cannot leave. There's nowhere for me to go.
Okay.
Clearly, she was trying to divert attention away from her role in the altercation. She believed that by creating confusion, she could escape the consequences of her actions. However, instead of making things easier for her inconsistent statements only complicate the situation. Despite her attempts to mislead the officer remained calm and professional. He allowed her to speak for as long as needed, but carefully noted everything she said. As the woman spoke, she eventually admitted that the argument with the man had started because of issues involving child safety and custody. This added a sensitive and emotional layer to the case, which made the situation more complex.
Now, he said you have friends in the area. I'm not kicking you out of your house, just to be clear.
I'm talking to the police officer. Mom, I'm talking to the police officer. He has friends too. We both have friends.
Again, I'm not taking sides.
I know. I don't have anywhere to go.
Okay.
I have family that live on the West Coast in California and Nevada.
Okay. So you guys are arguing. Okay. And is this how it usually goes? You guys argue and then it escalates?
No. I mean, we'll argue, but we're quick to get over it. It's just I mean, I see your prior service. I'm military as well. I had my reservist. I had my dual weekend. I just graduated to drill sergeant academy.
Go ahead, sis.
Okay, so she just graduated from the military academy as a drill sergeant, which means she is around a bunch of men and women that her husband don't know, right? And it seems to me that she's extra friendly with these people. And that's where the problem lies. Although I heard her say about child custody and all this and all that, I'm wondering, have he ever caught her before cheating? Or has she
Yeah,
caught?
well, I didn't mean to cut you short, sis, but at the very beginning of the conversation with the officer, he said that he had caught her cheating before. So if
Okay, gotcha.
it's
So
true to
of
what he's
course,
saying, then she has a history of it, which would definitely explain the distrust.
right. And now and her attitude and even the way that she's standing. You
Yes,
see how her body language is?
yes,
Okay, so she's protecting who?
herself.
Herself. So this is what she's doing right now. She don't, it's not about the children, it's about protecting herself at this moment. So
Absolutely.
she's lying.
Yes.
Okay, I'm on mute.
Ooh, that part right there.
In November. And from day one, I'm sure you know.
This is actually law enforcement, but
Okay, well, day one, when day zero, I'm sure you see shark attacks.
Yeah.
We had, from day one when I was at the academy, he fought with me every day. He doesn't like when I leave because of the history that we have.
Right.
When I leave from military. So,
and that's gotta be super stressful too.
yes. I had my drill weekend this weekend, and I stay on FaceTime with him. I share my location. I answer all his calls, all his text messages in the timely manner that he would like. And I was at the gym, and I wasn't answering them fast enough for him.
When were you not answering?
Saturday.
Saturday.
And I'm like, he was at a funeral, so I knew that we weren't going to be really talking on the phone anyways. And he's calling, and I answer, and he hangs up, and he's like, check your text messages, and then hangs up again. And I see I wasn't responding to his text messages and answering his questions, which was, are you off for the day?
That's because he wanted documentation.
That part. And plus, he need to know, are you off today? Because by now, who have the children? You at the gym. You not at work. You doing
And why
something.
you not answering your phone at the gym, but you've been answering it all day?
Right. And then but you know enough to see that he says, check your text messages. So evidently, you're not answering the phone for him. Right.
That part.
And if you know that's a problem, why don't you answer the phone for your husband? Right. And if you have cheated on him, you know that he's going to suspect that you're going to be doing something again. So that should have been the first call you take, or to let him know ahead of time. Well, okay, I'm at the gym now, or whatever. Yeah, it's some cat in this dog right here. I'm trying to tell you, it's some cat in this dog. Oh girl, oh girl, oh girl. Yeah, something ain't right. I'm just saying.
And like you said, she is around, whether it's women, it is ill proportioned to the amount of men that she's around. And like you also very wisely noted, look at the way she's dressed, look at the way she stands,
Yes.
her body language.
Yes.
And people can call me reserved, old school, and old fashioned all day long, but that is what people and men read. That is the language. The first language that men read is the body language, is how you presenting yourself. If it gets to the point where you're uttering words, then they're going to listen and add all of that together, your words, your presentation, and your attire. And they're going to make a judgment.
Exactly, MsAkemi. And here's another thing, Shirley. If you're not what you say you're not, take down the signs. Your pants are too tight. You are a mother. You don't have to dress like an old hen, but you're not on the market. And the way you're dressing, especially in those pants right there, you're advertising, sis. You are giving men reasons to look at you. Get out of here with that.
Oh, that part. I love it. Let's go.
And I said, yes, I am. Everything okay? What's going on? And he's just like, why aren't you answering my text messages? You're leaving me undelivered. I don't know what reset the phone did. Because his phone did the same reset. The red receipts are not on anymore. Okay. And like the sound changed for our phones for like ringtones and stuff. For some reason, it was a weird reset. Maybe other stuff happened, but those are the two that happened to both of our phones. Okay. So I don't know why my red receipts were off. His are off too now. And so he was mad that my red receipts were off. And so I still stayed on FaceTime with him, stayed on video because he wants me to FaceTime him 24/7 when I'm away from him. And I was on FaceTime with him, but it just still wasn't good enough for him. And so it just started an argument from that day, from that moment, around 4 o'clock
On Saturday?
okay. Until midnight. He was saying he was himself. He had my kids with him. I was gone. And I just, he's loco.
Yeah.
And so we argued that entire night. And I'm just like, you know what? I can't do this. One of my drill sergeant leaders from the academy, we follow each other on social media. He swears that just because we're friends with social media, that I'm, and it's not the case.
Why are you friends with men on social media that your husband doesn't have the privy of being friends with?
Right. And she said that he had their kids with him. So you mean to tell me you're at the gym, he got the kids with him, you're not answering the phone. What if it was an emergency that he was trying to tell you one of the kids were hurt, and you're not answering the phone because you know what I'm saying? That just don't make sense. That's not a mama's move.
And
right?
if he had not text messaged her, would she have even responded at all?
Right. You need to be checking on your children and making sure that the kids are okay with the daddy. And when everybody okay, then go ahead and do your little workout or whatever you're doing. Right. But you're doing something you ain't got no business because you're doing too much explaining. And it sounds a lot of holes in your story to me.
Explaining to a husband, explaining to the officer, explaining to anybody that will listen, because that is also a sign of a guilty conscience. Because you, like you said, you're over explaining. You're doing too much. You're doing too much trying to justify. If you are not ashamed of anything that you've done, you would say less.
That's right.
At all. And I tell him, because he's so crazy, he reaches out to every single guy that likes a picture on my social media. Like,
what kind of pictures you got up? That's what I would like to know. But I ain't listen. I digress. Why would men be so he not complaining about the? But why are men feeling sometimes? And do they know that you married?
Yeah,
do you
and why
yourself as being a wife on your social media platform, or do you post as if you're available, like Michelle said?
Right, and then here's another thing: if the script was reversed and it was him, you know, having these women that you didn't know about that were in your group or, you know, your drill, you know, in the army or whatever reserve thing, and he didn't know anything about these women, and he put a social media post out, and these women liked his picture, said he was handsome, bad this and that or whatever. How would you feel, mama? Married woman? See, that don't make sense.
With you with the babies and he out nilly-willying, and you and she seems like she is feeling inconvenienced because she's actually being held accountable to him for something.
Yes, and basically it sounds like you're being held accountable, in my opinion, because he's looking at you sideways for, number one, cheating on him before, and number two, you're a mom of his children, and you're still carrying on like you're a single woman with all these stray willy-nilly dudes that is looking at you in a different type of way.
And wife not being one of those ways.
Facts.
What do you do? What are your intentions with my wife? Why are you guys trying to tell me? Like, he's crazy. Yeah. And so I tell him, if you think that, like, reach out to all these people. At the end of the day, I'm a reservist. That drill sergeant leader is a reservist. He has a lot of connections. Who knows the networking that he and I can do in the future?
Right. So he can't have any male friends.
He doesn't. I cannot have male friends. He does not understand that. And
okay, since I gotta stop it right here. Look, I gotta stop it right here. I gotta say this. She says that some of these guys that she have on her social media platform are guys that she met in the service or what have you. And who knows, she might need to network with them, you know, in the future. You don't need to network with those guys in no future. You already have a career. Those guys are null and void when it comes to you and your future. That's an excuse to have straight Joe Blows hanging on your page and telling you cute.
If you are a wife, your husband, you should be a representation of your husband, which means he should lead, and his word and his decision should be the final say, right? My thing is with this whole situationship going on right here is, why, if you and he are not collaborating with these people, whether it's on social media, in person. If you're the way that you're interacting with them, your husband should be not only aware of it, but should be okay and signing off on it by you interacting as a married couple, not you having your own life, like you said, Miss Yo, of living as you're single while you're married, you're a wife and you're a mother. There, you to me, she has failed to transition, but that's why the Bible tells you that you have to be a wife. It is not something you do, it is something you are.
Simple as that. And you got that right 100%. And if I were doing anything that I felt like my husband was bringing to my attention that was upsetting him, and it made sense that it upsets him, and I don't want him to be upset, I'm going to reevaluate that. I'm going to readjust the situation. I'm going to, what they say, pull back or whatever, diffuse the situation. I'm going to let it go because it's not that important to me. What's important is his peace of mind, right? His peace of mind, especially if I've cheated or something crazy. I mean, what's so hard about that? I don't understand it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anything else you want to add before we?
No, that's I'm gonna wait for her to tell a little bit more on herself. But it looked like right now she's ready at a breaking point where she sees this officer and seeing that she's bullshitting. So I'm
And
looking for the tears now.
yeah, I was gonna say, and it's getting real for her right now.
Yes,
First of all, you done got with a female cop, so you can't manipulate other women like you can manipulate men. If that was a
yes.
male cop, that interaction would be totally different in my personal opinion.
Oh
But
yeah,
now
and
you
you
don't
right.
realize that
You
this
right.
female cop, she see you, so you gonna have to
Yes.
come with something different. But you didn't walk around with a plan B because you had just enough time to get from the house to the police station once you realized that's where he was or where he was going. And now you don't have a plan B. So now, yeah, things done got real because the military don't play with folk.
Right. And another thing I want to add is men, that ones that's in her platoon, and all these men that her so-called friends on social media now that she done met, these new dudes, they see a wounded animal. They are hunters. They know you wounded and they know you ready. And you are showing
Ooh,
all the signs, and that's why you got all these men gathering around you because they're ready to go in for the kill. What is the kill? The kill is to have sex with you, and you know it. Period.
ooh, that's good, Laverne. That is so good. A wounded animal.
I love it. I
Man,
love it.
metaphorically speaking, spot on. Let's go. Mm.
It just one argument led to another, and I'm just like, I'm done. And then he's kicking me out the house and all this stuff. So I know how crazy he can get. He has locked me. He has emptied my bank account. He knows he's taken professional hacking courses. He knows how to hack into anything that I have. I do not have any personal identity outside of him because he gets into everything. He's a professional hacker in the military. So one time, he financially tries to paralyze me, like doing this in ways that I cannot overcome them. He over time would ask me my security questions of my phone, like, oh, for example, my name is Niall. They called me that as a kid. What did they call you? And I was like, oh, they called me Bobby. Boom, my security question. What is your childhood nickname?
Hold on, sis. I gotta say this. Hold on. I can't help it. I gotta say this.
Tell me when to stop.
She said these words. I do not have any personal identity outside of him. Her words.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you become a wife, there is no personal identity outside of your spouse. Why? Because you become as one. That's what she's missing. What other identity do you want? You want to go back to your ways? No, you cannot. As a married woman, the personal identity is I am one. He is me. We are as one. We are a team. We are building a family. It's we, not me. And that's where she's lost that right there.
Woo! Listen, sometimes I just say less. Let's go.
What's your first car? I told him, oh, what color was it? Boom. And that was true. He's so smart. Yeah. And I don't even know if I'm being tested sometimes, right? Because it could be just a mutual conversation.
Right.
So
that makes you super paranoid, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he has tried to kick me out multiple times. He has emptied my bank account.
So there, okay, I had to stop it here. I know we just paused it, but first of all, there's definitely some control issues, because while it's really easy to, kind of break all of this down with her, they don't give him as much interaction as far as context in this video. However, the things that he does say on camera are very telling that this is definitely a two-way street, and he has learned her triggers to the point where he has learned how to control her, the situation, and his desired outcome. She knows it at this point, and she's frustrated. So now she's giving the attempt to explain all of the different ways that he is exercising this control over her. So what I'm going to say to this, and people may agree to disagree, there are some unions that are worth fighting for, and depending on the way that you go into them and your reasons for marrying someone, if they are not authentically or biblically structured, and you are on biblical principle and scripture to doing so, for those reasons, the marriage is not going to work. At some point, I believe that it is better to mitigate your damages and get out and rebuild from there than to lose everything, all of the goals, everything that you try to acquire individually as well as collectively. Once you became married, you got to know when to bow out at some point. Why in the world would either one of y'all, unless you felt trapped, to accept all of this unacceptable behavior? And that's just my thoughts on it.
No, that's a great observation. And here's the thing: he is controlling, and the reason why he became controlling, not that it's right, is because he has no trust. He don't trust her. They have trust issues because she's cheated. And when she said that he has control over her bank account, well, then you're the fool, mama, because you should not have. You should have a separate bank account that's yours and yours alone, right? So you gave him the information. You said that he's smart and he can figure out things by asking you questions and to tap into your bank account and all these things. Knowing that he what kind of man you with is the key. He's definitely controlling, but you allowing him to control you. Yes. And another reason why he's controlling is because he don't know that it's time to let go. She do not want him, and they're doing it for the sake of the children, which is another bad thing and another topic.
Yes, it is. So now you'd rather traumatize the children, thinking you're doing the children a favor.
Facts.
Taking my keys, taking my phone, put tracking devices on my car. I hacked into anything of my phone, my work phone, anything, my computer.
So, okay, I know, my bad. Listen, he put a tracking device on your car. Your phone is a tracking device. He gets into your emails. He knows how to obtain any type of information according to your word and to what you say your experience is. He can find out anything he wants to find out when it comes to you. And he's letting you know he don't trust you. The cell phone should be enough, but evidently he don't even trust it. That's going to give him an accurate location or time line of where you are, what you're doing. He doesn't trust you at all. If he's using all of those different types of resources, first of all, my spirit wouldn't allow me to stay. It would, because now you're giving off stalkerish vibes. Whether you trust me or you don't, I'm looking at you as a stalker.
Right. And
around.
You're right, MsAkemi. And see, relationships like this will wind up with someone unalived.
Yep.
Instead of knowing when to hold them, knowing when to fold them, knowing when to walk away, these are the type of relationships that someone will be unalive and those children will not have a parent. It is too much. And she said they've been to counseling, all of these things, and that didn't work, somebody gonna have to be the bigger person and save the children and get out of their selfish, relationships about what they want in a relationship. Because once you have them babies, it has nothing to do with you. It's all about those children and the betterment of those kids. How much do they love their children? That's what I want to know.
That's what I want to know too, sis. Ooh, this is good. This is good.
Anything.
So you have no privacy.
I have no privacy. And I just am so angry that he was trying to do that again to me this weekend. And
What specifically was he trying to do this weekend?
like he said, he plays mind games. I'm kind of catching on to how he plays. He will make up a little scenario and play that scenario as if it's a real story, as if something really happened, as if he knows already. Like, oh, I already know you did this, so why don't you just tell me? And it's like it never happened, but because you know of maybe a snippet that I know that person, you know that where that person works, and maybe I've been in the same location as that person, he puts his own story together as if like I already know this happened, but it never happened. But that's how he thinks that he can catch me and other people in lies. And it's just this morning he was playing mind games with me.
Like, how was he doing that? What was he doing that about?
I'm telling him he wanted me out of the house. I'm not done with work, and I'm not going to live.
That's not a mind game. He telling you he don't want you there.
It's that simple. It's that simple. Yeah, it's not a mind game. It's just that she's not prepared to leave him. And what he did was pissed her off because he beat her to the point by going to the police station, reporting her, and sabotaging her career, putting a stain on her brand new Army career. That's what he did to her. But she probably have been threatening to do the same thing to him. He just beat her to it. That's all. And then she's pissed because he outsmarted her in that way. So they're playing a lot of cat and mouse games, and they need to just go ahead and separate and take care of those babies. That's what they need to do, in my opinion.
And it looks, based off of the video evidence and the receipts that have been acquired and utilized on his behalf, it also looks very likely that he will get custody of the children, which means more benefits and more security from the military. Am I wrong on that?
No, he probably would. Both of them could probably get shared custody of the children because they could get shared custody. I believe that they will get shared custody. But again, since this happened outside of the military, the military is gonna try to pretty much keep their hands clean of it, keep their hands out of this business, and let it unfold through the system that they have in place right now. But had it happened on a military base, oh yeah, it'd have been a total different story. He would have got complete control over those babies and some more. Yes.
Got it. Okay, so there is definitely a distinction between how they do things on military soil as opposed to the regular state or city or county ran jail homes.
Yes, and that's right. And if you listen to it in the very beginning, he said he had already spoken to his sergeant and the people in the military already on how to pursue this. So he thought this thing through. She just did not. And that's why she hot. Because I'm telling you, this is going to be a stain on her military record, although he is going to be in trouble outside of the military. But, it still is going to be something that's going to linger as a domestic violence dispute on her end.
Yep. And that stuff follows you. You go for promotions, you go for rank, you go for anything where you ascend and you become more valuable to your craft. You're not gonna be able to erase that.
That's a fact.
At one point during the conversation, the woman also shared that she had no financial resources or assets to support herself. This statement revealed some of her personal struggles. She faced challenges beyond the current situation, which might have contributed to her behavior. However, despite these personal challenges, the officer knew that he had to focus on the facts and the seriousness of the situation.
And I was trying to get the kids ready because we both mutually get them ready, take the kids to school and everything. Yeah. But he wasn't letting me help get them ready. And I was like, okay, well, I made them breakfast. What are we going to do? Like, can I take the kids to school? Like, what is the plan this morning? Because just don't worry about it. I got it. Okay, but we have an infant, and I'm just like, okay. What's the plan when after work? Are you picking them up? We usually go to the gym every day after work. I said, what's the plan? Like, are you picking them up? Or are we going? Don't worry about it. I got it. You're not in the picture anymore. And it's just like, it's the mind games. Like I want to be just involved, but again.
Okay, sis, gotta stop it right here. She said that they had an infant, which tells me. She was speaking before that they have problems ongoing back and forth for longer than just this little incident right here, right? Which tells me you got an infant. The problem must have been resolved or solved for you to have an infant right now by the same dude. The problem y'all made up somewhere in between that little dispute that y'all had, right? But,
Right.
so now he's telling you, don't you worry about it. I got the kids. You go ahead and just go on about your business, do your day, right? That pissed you off because you felt like he was throwing shade on you as a mom. That made you start putting hands on him. What if he had reacted to you touching him, like putting your hands on him, and he hit you one time? It would have been a bigger mess. You would have two parents. Their career could have been messed up, all because of the no non-trust issues. Trust issues.
Yes.
That's
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with everything that you've said on that. I really don't have anything to add on that little clip, sis. Boy, Laverne, y'all better listen. Y'all better listen. You getting the game. You getting the whole game. If you gentleman or you're a
yeah.
female, you're getting gems on how to read people, read people's behavior, read people's responses, listen to what they say, look at the body language, look at the behavior. All of those things matter. Whether you're married, whether you're single, whether you're dealing with somebody from a professional standpoint or level, whether it's from a relationship, whether it's with your children, whether it's with people you don't know. Y'all better learn how to read people.
Yes, and also I want to add for the ladies out here that may be in similar situations, make sure that you have a little nest egg set to the side that nobody knows you may have. So if you have children and stuff, you may just have to walk away with something. Have your little stash. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, especially if you know you living dirty and raggedy, you cheating women, and you side bitches.
That
Okay?
part.
Make sure you got your own shit and
Great.
stop relying on the man. Okay? Because he can cut you off immediately.
What a great suggestion. See, you side bitches and you side pieces, all of y'all being drop gems too.
I'm trying to play this perfect narrative to everybody else, but he's trying to play the perfect narrative.
Mm-hmm. So what did he accuse you of today, if anything?
Oh, having sex with multiple men over the weekend, entertaining other men among DMs. And people tell me, my stuff is really locked down. I added people that I went to the academy with. I was with them every day for 9 weeks straight. I have a right to have them as a friend. If they heart one of my stuff, or if they call me pretty, like, it sucks, but I mean, I'm not saying.
Oh, hold on, sis. Hold on.
It's just like,
She says she have a right to add, meet new friends and add them to her DM and stuff. She have a right to do it. Why do you have a right to add strangers, men, to your DMs giving you compliments when you have a husband? You don't have that right. I don't understand why she thinks she have a right to do it. That's what she said.
And I would even take it a step further to ask her if it would be okay if her husband matches her energy and they both have a mutual understanding that they could both go outside of the marriage. If not,
yeah, that's what they need.
Because it strikes me that she would not be okay if he did that.
Right. She wants to do it, but she wants him to be dad, provider, husband, and all of those things. So it seems like it's a lot of one-sided. And I think since it's so one-sided, that causes the man to be overprotective when it comes to tracking her phone and all this stuff that he's doing for security reasons to spy on her. It's just no trust there at all.
Yeah, at all. I also wonder too, sis, because he seems to be a lot more established and a lot more grounded and have more time in the military, seeing as though she's just graduated from, what was it, basic training?
Yes.
Okay.
Drill sergeant.
Right. So it sounds like she met him, they got married and had children while he was possibly already military.
That's what it sounds like to me. I think so, because they couldn't have known each other, because if so, they wouldn't be having this problem.
Come on now. That was where I was going. Finishing my thought. That's it, Laverne, right there.
thank you. And then that's it. If they try to go further, I don't let them, but none of them have.
Yeah.
But just because I don't stop them when they tell me I'm pretty, nothing has gone further than a compliment. But because I don't stop them when they tell me I'm pretty, it's a, you need to respect that I'm married. Don't tell me I'm pretty. He has a problem with it.
Okay. I mean, that's
In these conversations, I don't hear her mention her husband at all. I don't hear her say, okay, when I'm interacting with these people on social media and boot camp and basic training, whatever she got going on, her husband is not included in that conversation. The only time she speaks of him is when she wants to be victim.
Right. And she says that these guys are telling her he's seeing it. So the husband is witnessing and seeing all of her social media stuff because, you know, he's a hacker for the government, United States, for the Army. Okay. So she's saying that these guys are telling her that she's pretty. He's getting upset because she don't stop them and say, okay, I have a husband. Well, yeah, duh. I mean, really?
These people crazy. Crazy.
sounds exhausting and toxic. And I'm sure it pushes you beyond your limit. Would you say that's accurate?
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine dealing with that. And it's extra hard when you have kids.
Yeah.
And that makes it that much worse.
Yeah.
So has it ever gotten physical with you guys?
Multiple times.
Okay. What has happened?
I should have filed domestic on him before he did me.
What
They
happened?
go to tears.
And there goes the admission that I should have filed before he did me. She confirmed it.
And that's why she mad and crying and trying to get sympathy because he beat her to the punch.
He didn't just beat her to the punch. He beat her to the punch with his ducks in a row.
Yes, and she's in trouble and her career is pretty much tarnished by her behavior of putting her hands on him. And if he'd ever, which I believe he did, put his hands on her in some way that was not lovingly, she just got caught.
She just the one that got caught because he played the game a little bit better than she did.
Yep.
He's locked me in my closet. I have that one on video. He's locked me in my closet. And physical abuse. He won't let me leave. So he'll grab me, put me up against the. He tries to confine me in corners and closets.
How does he do that?
By grabbing me, he's strong. He's held me down multiple times.
When did that happen?
It was a while ago. It was like 2020, 2021.
So you've been with this man all these years with he locking you in closets and cornering you up and restraining you and keeping you from being able to move about as an adult woman, and you stay with him, but now you want to bring it out. And then on top of that, you wouldn't even be talking to this officer if it wasn't for him. He beat you to the punch. He came, but now you think it's supposed to turn in your favor because you done turned on the waterworks and you realized that ish done got real.
He locked you in the closet in 2021. That's what she said, right? But they just have.
She said 2020 or 2021.
Right,
so
but she
doesn't even really remember.
Right, but you got an infant child now. See, since then.
Mm-hmm.
So you mean to tell me you're accepting that behavior, and he did that back then, and most recently he haven't done anything to you because that's not what you said. You said in 2020 and 2021 he locked you in the closet. He have not touched you since then because if he did, you would have mentioned it. And here we are now. Right, almost going to 2025. Not sure exactly the date of this video, but it's not that old. You got an infant child, okay, and you cheated on him in between all of that. Come on now, look. And why would he lock you in the closet? Not that he have a reason to do that, because you should never do anything like that. But what was the cause of that? I mean, I'm just listen. They needed to separate.
We just asking. I mean, these are questions that really we would like some clarification on, but at the same time, you kind of giving it to us based on how you communicate. And just keep on talking, sis.
What else happened?
I put my hands on him. I'm sure there's no way out of that. Like, I'm sure he has video. I saw a security camera.
Do you put your hands on him today?
Maybe.
Kelly.
I mean, I'm sure you guys saw videos. I'm sure you guys have proof.
But again, I need your side.
You're hearing this.
Okay. But here's the thing. If there's just a video of you going up and hitting somebody, I'm not in your mind at that moment. I'm not hearing what's going on with your thoughts. Okay? I'm not
just always. He tries to make me fearful of him. He tries to intimidate me. He's manipulative. He plays psychological games with me, and I don't know how to combat them the proper way.
And that's when I turn.
Well, if you know that, then why let it get all the way to this point when you still producing children?
That part says that's where I'm baffled. Why? Is it because the more children you have, even in the military, you get more money? Is it? I mean, what's going on? What's up with that? It can't be love. What is it? Security? And you said that he has everything and he controls everything, right? But you do have a bank account. He even controls that. I mean, what is keeping you there? That's the question.
That's the question. I got my own suspicions, but I'll keep them to myself for now.
There's physical?
Yes,
Okay.
he messes with me so much. And
Yeah.
threatens that he's going to make sure that I'm so financially, mentally, psychologically paralyzed that I will never be able to overcome our separation because I've been wanting, I want to leave.
Yeah.
So he's going to make sure he does anything possible, get any documents on me to hurt me so bad that at the end of the day, he's the winner. And it doesn't even need to be a winner or a loser.
No,
Like,
no, it shouldn't be that a win or lose situation. It's not a game, but I know you're saying that's his perspective. So when he acts like that, when he makes you feel like you couldn't be independent,
we have done counseling, and they've said if you feel like it gets to that, if you're gonna probably put your hands on him, if it's gonna get violent, you need to be able to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to be able to leave, but he made it to where he would take my car keys, he would take my cell phone, take my debit card, he would make it to where I couldn't leave.
Yeah. Did that happen today? Did he take any?
No, but that's just his.
Because he don't trust you, and he's not investing in you. He's investing in your children because you done checked out of the marriage, if you was ever checked in. But based off of the way that you carry yourself and that you're behaving, I'm not saying that he's all right, but what I am saying is that how you're conducting yourself and moving has hit the spotlight. That's what we're seeing. We're not seeing all of these things that you're saying. We have to go off of the information that you're providing, but you don't put hands on this man, which you didn't exercise good judgment from the beginning. If you were aware that those cameras was there at the house, how long have you been with this man? You're procreating, you are acting as an organization that's supposed to be cohesive for the entire family unit. But you want to be single with marriage benefits, and it don't work like that.
Exactly. And let me just add this piece in here. If someone, like you hear this officer pretty much interrogating her, getting information, the first thing a woman would have said is that, yeah, I cheated, but he cheated too. Have you heard that? She would have been through that out there. This man has never cheated on her that she know of. Right? Because if they did, don't you think that she would have mentioned that in this interview? Right? So that tells me that this gentleman, although he may have cheated, she don't know anything about it, have never found anything on him. She may suspect some things, but she has blatantly been out there cheating on him, and she has also put her hands on this man because it's on camera. We don't see the incident or that he put her in the closet. That's just what she's saying. So right now, I got to say I'm leaning toward the gentleman.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great observation. Man, this whole story, all the pieces are coming together, and to the point where we really don't need any more context than the context that's given. So we only have a few more minutes left in the video, and normally we wouldn't play the entire video, but you need all of these pieces in order to make the conversation valid and to give the same context to our viewers as opposed to us as well. We're all looking at the same story.
Yes, and I want to add one more thing. If you guys can just still pay attention to her body language, she is turning to the side of the officer. So that tells me that she's still lying. She's not facing the officer like she's confident in what the things that she's saying to her. She's not looking in the officer's face. She's put on lip gloss. She did all of that, but she's not directly looking at the officer stating her case, which tells me that she's not firm in what she's saying. She's being deceitful.
And I also want to add to that too, is that again, in my opinion, she was prepared and equipped, and it becomes more natural and less of an effort to interact with a male police officer. But if you look at how she's behaving, I would venture to say that this is her natural behavior that would be in front of a male officer. So this is her default. This is, in my opinion, she doesn't know what to do with herself dealing with the female, but she's still operating where she's comfortable or what she knows. She's very versed and has experience, in my opinion, with manipulating men.
She does, and like you said in the beginning, she really does. Because if this was a male police officer interviewing her, you better believe she would be facing him. He would be able to see her tears, but she knows that this female officer sees her. That's the whole deal. That's why she like that.
Period. Let's go.
Better. Yeah. Like, he's smart. He got me good today. Maybe he set it up perfectly to where it was right in front of our camera. He's so smart.
So did you put your hands on him today?
After carefully collecting all the information, the officer made his decision. The man's video evidence and the woman's inconsistent statements left little doubt that the woman had been involved in the altercation.
So she gave inconsistent statements. So she gave them cause to believe that a lot of what she was saying was not necessarily true.
Yes, and now she's getting locked up, which means that that's going to mess up her the career that she has as far as a drill sergeant, just passing that class as being a drill sergeant. Oh, she can kiss that goodbye. She can kiss some of that goodbye, for real, for real.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
The officer determined that despite her efforts to avoid responsibility, she was the primary suspect. He had no choice but to act and ensure that she was held accountable for her actions. When the officer moved to arrest the woman, she resisted.
I mean, if the answer is yes, I want to hear the because.
There is no because. It's not right. There's no reason why.
I mean, I'm not justifying it, but at the same time, you can only be pushed so far. Did you just lose your cool? You said in the past you've been able to walk away.
I've tried a couple of times until he made it to where I wouldn't be able to.
Okay. And were you? Please. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, he's done it. I've been able to walk, but I have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
My friends have spouses, their own lives. Like,
yeah.
I have nowhere to go.
So you feel trapped.
Of course.
Did you feel trapped today?
It's not even that I felt trapped today. It was just like, I hate that he wants to get the last word, and I don't care about letting him. It's not about getting the last word or not. It's just about him telling me, him always threatening me with the children or with just life, finances and stuff.
Did he do that today?
Of course.
What specifically did he threaten you with?
That he was going to ruin my military career. That he was going to, which he's done already in the past, contacted my chief command before, that he was going to mess up my career, mess up the guys' careers that follow me in like my Instagram stories and my posts.
Yeah.
And I'm not sexualized or anything on social media.
Right.
Hold on, sis.
So.
Okay, so I believe he used that as a threat to her, saying that if she does cheat again with anybody else, assuming, in my opinion, that the person that she cheated with the first time was in the military. He used that against her to say, if you do it again, I'm going to mess up your career, your military career, and I'm going to take the children. But instead, she did this physical thing to him and kept pushing. And then she also had those guys in the DM, which showed him, the husband, that she was not going to change her ways. And he showed her better than he could tell her. That's the last word. Yes.
That part. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I've been asking for divorce for 2 years, but
What stops you from filing?
I've been contacting people all morning. I had a feeling you would do this.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know the first steps. I mean, I don't have support. I don't have family. I don't have anything.
Okay. I'm gonna have you sit down here. Okay. Put your phone down. Turn around.
Okay, since I just want to say this right here. I just want to say this right here. She said that she was trying to get a divorce for the last 2 years. She haven't been trying hard enough because in the military, you can get a divorce. You can go to the JAG officers and speak with someone that's a lawyer. They'll appoint you a lawyer and you can get a divorce. So that's just an excuse. Just wanted to reiterate that piece.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for doing so. Because I'm telling you, there's a lot of different things to interpret in these videos. People show you the story that everybody thinks they're good actors and actresses.
Yes, but she definitely could have got a divorce if she really wanted one, especially she's been trying to do it for the last 2 years.
That
Really?
part.
And then
But you know what?
she has children by this man too, and they will also give her allotment every month for those children and her for spousal support for those babies. If she really wanted a divorce, she could have got out of that, regardless of what rank what rank he is in. I know that for a fact.
Yes, and she doesn't have any excuse, but what this indicates to me is that she failed to have a game plan, which means her priorities were out of whack and her focus seemed to be on men, relationships outside of her marriage, and the opposite sex. But that's just my opinion.
I agree with you. And now, anybody that's watching this video, listen, if you're going to be doing the things that this young woman did, just make sure you prepare like a Girl Scout, have your ducks in a row, and your bank account private from your relationship with your husband or whoever you're into, so that if you have to walk away without hurting the children, watching you all argue back and forth for all these years, because it's a toxic relationship, you need to have your own. So feather your nest, ladies and gentlemen.
And gentlemen, amen. Let's go.
Right now, you're under arrest for simple battery under the Domestic Violence Act. Okay.
The woman was formally charged. She was brought before a court and charged with 2 counts of simple battery in connection with the incident. The charges reflected the seriousness of her actions and highlighted the need to address domestic violence cases with the seriousness they deserve. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. Share your thoughts in the comments.
Yes, so I'm telling you, that was a mouthful. That was a mouthful. And there was a lot of different moving parts to this entire video, but we are so glad that you were able to be a part of, what we saw and kind of explaining it from our perspective. Hopefully you were able to gain some insight, look at it from a different perspective, from a different vantage point, incorporate your own perceptions and ideas on the interpretation of the video. And yeah, maybe even be able to apply a few of these different concepts to your own relationship.
100%, MsAkemi. I really enjoyed doing this recording with you. I look forward to doing many more of these to come. Yes. And for all of you watchers or people that's in the bushes or what have you, look at the ticker that's at the bottom of the screen. Want a 3-way conversation with me and MsAkemi? Let's reach our goal. Go look up on the platform that we are displaying this at and click on the goal. And if we get enough people that want to do this, then yeah, we'll be glad to have a conversation with you. Whatever you want to talk about, no topic is off limit. And yeah, we'll definitely want to get paid for our services because we are professionals in many ways, and we are experienced elders. So keep that in mind, okay?
Amen. Amen.
Yes.
And the additional ticker on the bottom of the screen, the new one, if there's any videos or any topics that have videos, that you would like us to react and give our perspective on. My Instagram is at the bottom. Please feel free to send me a link, and then I will transfer that on to Miss Yo, and we will go from there.
And if you read that out, your Instagram is MsAkemi. Is that a 1 on Instagram? Yep,
Yeah.
at MsAkemi 1 on Instagram. So keep those videos coming. And even if you don't, we're going to be pushing these videos out just like that. So we're going to make it happen on these YouTube streets because we know how to get in where we fit in. And we're going to see y'all on these streets later. All right. Thanks, Miss Akemi. I'm going to holler at you later, Shirley.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, sis. Peace and blessings, and appreciate you and your perspective.
Likewise.
Okay. All right, y'all. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. Appreciate your presence. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. Hit that like button on your way out, and we will see you on the next round. Peace.